Hey, American Lit. Hope everybody had a nice weekend, got a chance to enjoy the sunshine. I wanted to talk today about what your class activities are for today, May 6th, or will be May 6th. And so we're going to go through those in turn. So the first is to complete your reading assessment by 11:59 tonight. That is a separate assignment down here. And remember that it has two parts. The first is your free response, which should be based on yuckiest food in the Amazon, which is in your close reader, and the pages are right here for you. You could type those right in. So CR83, so you can just go right here. CR83 is where it starts. That gets you right to that close reader, so you can complete that activity. Okay, and then the second one is a multiple choice, which is it's what it says, multiple choice. Your understanding of vocabulary terms, be careful with this because there's only one attempt allowed. So my advice is, if you haven't really looked at the vocab yet, do check out Q4 vocabulary resources. It has all of the terms that you could be expected to know and their definitions. You will be expected to be able to use these in a sentence, so just be aware of that. So that is the summative reading assessment. Again, that's due this evening at 11:59 p.m. The second is to watch this video, which hopefully that's what you're doing. The last is to complete the brainstorming activity for the summative writing assessment, which is coming up. And so I did want to take a second. I attached that to the assignment for today. So this is 50 points. It is a summative, so it's going to be the other 50-point summative, making up half that summative grade for you guys. And your prompt here is this: what theme or central idea do the writers from this unit wish to convey to their audience about reality, and why? All right. So this is your standard essay. It should be formatted in MLA. So Times New Roman or Arial, size 12, double spaced, the huge, as far as requirements that way go. You will get a formatted template. Actually, I've already posted that. So please do use that template because that has most of the MLA formatting things taken care of for you. And it is going to be a 750 word minimum for this assignment. Content, thesis does need to respond to that prompt, and I'm going to give you some help for this with the guiding questions, and I'll talk about those in a second. And that thesis needs to be supported by 3 texts you have to use to build a fire. And I am giving you the page numbers here. And then you can choose 2 other texts from this unit. And those actually could be any of the ones that are in this unit, including ones that we've not assigned or discussed. And to see an overview of those, I give you a page to go to in collections to check that out. So actually you can type that right in here. Roman numeral 14 XIV is the first page of the table of contents. This is what's in the hardcovers. That's a list of all of the texts. And so if you're curious about any one of these, like, oh, I want to use Genesis of the Tenement, but I don't really remember what it's about. Well, you see that's on page 384. So you could just type 384 in here. It'll take you right there. It also has all of your close readers. These unfortunately do not have page numbers referenced explicitly. So you will have to refer back to the assignments in Classroom to see what page numbers those were. I am happy to answer those questions by email as well. Okay, so those are your texts, right, that you can use. You do need a works cited page, and at the end of your template, I do format that for you, so please do use that. Something about deadlines in the submission process, I'm making this a little different. You guys do not have a final exam. I sent out an email Monday morning indicating that the Q4 calendars have been updated to reflect that. So effectively, this is going to be your last big assessment of the year for this class. And so your final drafts are actually going to be the very last day of the year, which is Friday, June 5th, 11:59. I'm not going to accept any drafts beyond that point, unless you get an administrator. It's going to be like a late final exam. You have to have an administrator clear that. Otherwise, I'm just not going to review it or accept it. So please make sure that you have a draft into me, some draft into me by that time. One thing I'm doing differently here, though, does have to do with the first drafts. And so usually what I do with the first drafts is if you don't submit it, not a big deal. There's no adverse grade consequence. You can continue merrily along and keep drafting and then submit whatever you submit on the final deadline. However, here it's actually more important. You're going to really want to get this first draft in by May 20th at 11:59, because on-time submissions for this semester, you can submit them more than once, right? So if you submit a first draft on time, that is by May 20th at 11:59, I'll score it, I'll send it back to you, and you can actually revise that for your final summative score, and I will basically replace the grade that you got initially with that final grade. So really big opportunity. If you want to take a couple cracks at this, please pay attention to that deadline and do that. Likewise, I mean, if you submit a first draft and it's awesome, you get an A+ or an A and you're happy with that, and you're like, I just want to be done, then you don't have to submit another one. I'm kind of seeing this as a substitute for almost like an exemption, right? So all you're really doing during this final week of the school year, the final exam week, is going to be potentially revising that essay. But if you've already got a good essay going, then you don't have to do anything. And you'll be good to go. So please pay attention to that deadline, that first draft deadline in particular, and get that in. For today, I'm asking you to brainstorm, and there are two things that I'm asking you to do. The first thing is to pick out the two texts aside from London's To Build a Fire that you want to use in your essay. And so I'm giving you all of the texts from collection 5, even the ones that we didn't explicitly discuss. And you're just going to choose two. It's multiple choice. You just choose two. There are no wrong answers. And this is tentative. You can change it later on if you want. But I just want you to indicate, to show me that you were thinking a little bit about how you're going to support your thesis. And indeed, the second part of this brainstorming is I want you to come up with a tentative thesis to support the prompt. What theme or central idea do the writers from this unit wish to convey? Now, to help you with this as well, I'm going to include these guiding questions, which I came up with in years past to help you with the prompt. So guiding questions are essentially like follow-up questions to the prompt. They basically, answers to these questions will answer the prompt, and they can be answered with multiple texts in the unit, right? And basically, they just focus you a little bit on important motifs. Okay, is man really the most evolved animal? Okay, so this definitely includes, To Build a Fire has something to say about this. I'll tell you also, obviously, Mark Twain's The Lowest Animal has something to say about this. I'm not going to give you the third, because I know pretty much everybody just wants to go to the simplest thing. But just to give you an example, there are 3 texts that could support answers to that question. And this would definitely be responsive to the prompt, okay? So use these guiding questions if you're struggling a little bit with that thesis. I've also posted a demo essay on the SWA assignment in Classroom as well for you to look at if you want an example of a thesis there. So that's all really I want you to do. I know you guys are working on your reading assessment, so I want you to focus on getting that done. But this is just some initial brainstorming to get you started on that summative writing assessment. If you're curious about the rubric is included here. It is included in the first draft assignment. I believe I did attach that. And if I didn't, I will do that shortly. So go to the first draft assignment. If you are curious to see the rubric, I will attach it. And yeah, good luck on your reading assessments. And please feel free to email me with any questions or concerns. Thanks.